I'm Tom Llamas, live in Sarasota, Florida tonight in the path of Hurricane Milton. This monster and historic storm is set to make landfall in just hours. Our team is spread across the state of Florida, covering every angle, including the approaching hurricane and now the threat of tornadoes.
This is a special edition of Top Story, Hurricane Milton. Live from the storm zone, here's Tom Llamas.
Hey, good evening. We are live tonight from Sarasota in a very safe zone as Hurricane Milton rapidly approaches, already bearing down on Florida's west coast. At this hour, we are nearing a potentially historic landfall. This extremely dangerous and catastrophic storm could be one of the worst hurricanes ever on record for this area. Right now, conditions are rapidly deteriorating as the outer bands continue to push onshore. And here in Sarasota, the city is bracing for potential disaster and likely some of the worst storm surge it's ever seen. You may be able to hear the wind blowing now. We are approaching hurricane-force wind gusts. This is a life-threatening situation unfolding. The National Weather Service saying now the time to stay in place, you have to stay in place if you didn't get out. We want to take a live look right now at St. Pete, where torrential rain and intense winds are slamming that area. We also want to take a live look where Milton is right now. The storm quickly charging towards the coast, roughly 30 miles out from where we are in Sarasota. The hurricane will make landfall as a major hurricane, and its wind field has nearly doubled in size since just 24 hours ago. That means more people will feel its dangerous impacts. We also want to take a look at the latest hurricane forecast cone. The storm expected to make landfall near or just south of the Tampa Bay area. A nightmare scenario, as this could be one of the worst storms that city faces in more than a century. Milton will maintain its hurricane strength as it charges across the state. And as we mentioned, one of the biggest concerns is the potentially deadly storm surge. You can see here what that looks like. Areas like Sarasota, Clearwater, and Tampa could see up to 15 feet of water, easily topping a single-story home. The storm also unleashing destructive winds, dangerous flash floods, widespread power outages, and spawning powerful tornadoes. A massive tornado outbreak still underway at this hour. While we thought the West Coast would bear the brunt, parts of the East Coast are seeing terrifying twisters. This video from Fort Pierce, Florida, just north of Port St. Lucie, and shocking video from Wellington near Palm Beach, a large and destructive tornado lifting debris into the air. We have seen numerous tornadoes charging across highways and neighborhoods all across southern Florida. The National Weather Service in Miami and Tampa breaking records for the most tornado warnings in a single day. Surveillance camera video in Fort Myers capturing the moment a tornado, look at this, ripped through a front yard. It's a nightmare scenario, and officials are not mincing words about how serious the situation is right now.
It's looking like the storm of the century.
This hurricane is going to pack a major, major punch and do an awful lot of damage.
With a hurricane, it's not just storm surge, it is the wind, it is the tornadic activity.
We've never had one like this. I've been here for 38 years and never had one that forced us to do this.
This is a different time than any other hurricane I've been through here. It's devastating.
Right now, curfews are in place. Highways and bridges are completely shut down. Officials say no one should be on the roads. Earlier, Florida Highway Patrol posting this video, rescuing a dog. Look at this. The dog was tied up and left on the side of a highway in the water. That dog now receiving care. Look at that. They were able to rescue him. Florida's governor saying this is the largest National Guard mobilization in state history. First responders preparing to move on once it's safe to do so. Our teams are spread out tonight all across Florida. Meteorologist Bill Cairns is standing by, tracking it all. Bill, talk to us about what's the latest. We are hearing the conditions, and we are feeling the conditions get worse here in Sarasota.
Yeah, well, Tom, let me just start with where you are and show you where the eye is. So here is Sarasota, and you could clearly see where the eye of Milton is, only about 30 miles off the coast. In the next 2 hours, Tom, you will enter into the eye in the center of the storm, as it should come right over the top of you. Landfall roughly sometime, 8:30ish to 9:30, right towards the end of the 9 o'clock hour. So to the north, I feel very confident now with this storm, the motion it's taking, Tampa is not getting the direct hit. We are not seeing that storm surge that will be historic in the Tampa Bay. The storm surge will likely end up higher with Helene in Tampa Bay than it will be for Milton. So for anyone in the interest in the Tampa Bay area that has evacuated, worried about your home, your property, likely the worst of it's going to be south of landfall, and your property will not be any worse than what you had with Helene. So hopefully that can be a little self-assurance. Unfortunately, it is pouring, it is windy, power is going to go out, we could have freshwater flooding, but not the surge. Sarasota southwards, Venice, all the way down to Inglewood, Rotunda, and then to Port Charlotte, Punta Gorda, and Fort Myers. That's where the storm surge is now coming in, and it's coming in quickly. I've seen pictures from Fort Myers Beach. If you're familiar with it, where Margaritaville is there, the areas that were just destroyed by Ian, water's now in the buildings once again. Buildings that were refurnished, from 2 years ago from that horrible destruction. So here's Sarasota, here's the coast, there's the eye, roughly about 30 miles away. The strongest winds will actually be with these heavy bands of rain north of the center. Some dry air is worked in. That's why we're not going to get a lot of heavy rain south of the landfall. But Tampa, St. Petersburg area, it is pouring and it's going to stay pouring. It may rain like this for the next 6 to 8 hours. That's how you may end up getting a foot of rain. So the latest from the Hurricane Center, it's still a Category 3. The sheer upper-level winds did its job to weaken the wind field a little bit. That's why we're now saying max storm surge 13 feet instead of, say, 15 feet, because now we're down to about 120. We'd like to knock the wind down even more, because as this moves over the I-4 corridor later on tonight, we still think it's going to have enough punch to knock out power from Tampa all the way to Orlando and possibly here to the Melbourne, Space Coast, Titusville area here, and maybe down to Palm Bay. So this is the wind field. Anywhere in yellow is tropical storm, but this is now the hurricane wind, and that's approaching right where you are, Tom. And the max gust that we have now, Sarasota is about 60, St. Petersburg 66, even to the north here. Look at Brooksville, just had a gust up to 69, Punta Gorda 66. So now we're going to start getting those power outages, and that storm surge, as I mentioned, it's already starting to race in. It's from Sarasota southwards, Venice Beach, the Boca Grande, and then in here towards the Fort Myers area. That's where the most destruction will be. We don't know exactly how high it's going to get, but estimates of at least 10 to 13 feet at its worst. And flash flood warnings are now widespread, and this will be a story as we go through the night with that 12 to 18 inches of rain along that I-4 corridor here, Tampa to Orlando. High risk of flash flooding in those areas. So, Tom, you are about to go into the eye of Milton in the next 2 hours. Your strongest wind gusts will be within the next hour, and then you should start getting into what we call the calm of the storm.
Yeah, Bill, and I want to make sure our viewers know we are in a very secure area right now. We are in a concrete parking lot in Sarasota, very high up. I'm actually looking over my shoulder, and I can see the Ringling Bridge and the bay. But as the sun is setting now and night is coming, this is going to be a nocturnal landfall, Bill, which makes things even more dangerous because you can't make out where that storm surge is. And when those power outages hit, which we know they will, you're not going to be able to see that rising water until it's too late. I do have to ask you, though, about this tornado threat. There were some records set throughout the state of Florida and some incredibly scary images and damage that we've already seen from these tornado touchdowns.
Yeah, so we had the most tornado warnings ever issued in one day in Florida. Our tornado count's now above 17. All of these icons here show you where tornadoes were reported today. The strongest one, it appears, was around Fort Pierce and Vero Beach. It was a wedge tornado. There's a Florida Department of Transportation camera on I-95 that showed the debris. There's a sheriff's station that it's for all the vehicles. That was destroyed. It's laying on top of all the police cruisers right now. We know we have mobile homes that have been destroyed in this region. So these tornadoes have done some significant damage, especially that one near Fort Pierce in Vero Beach. Thankfully, all of those storms that were producing that have now exited off the East Coast. So for the most part, Tom, I think we're well past the worst of our tornado threat. Now our focus is on that destructive storm surge in the eye as it crosses Florida over the next 12 hours.
Yeah, Floridian residents just cannot get a break with Hurricane Milton. Bill, I know you're going to be standing by for us. And as Bill just mentioned, Hurricane Milton's projected to make landfall just south of Tampa. The area is bracing for the possibility of widespread destruction. For the latest on the ground there, I do want to bring in Marissa Parra tonight. Marissa, talk to us about what you're seeing. This is the first time I'm going to be able to see your shot and where you are. I see you have your protective gear on. Talk to us about what you're seeing and what you're hearing.
Hey, Tom. Yeah, hopefully these glasses can protect me from the rain that is clearly just starting to come down. Those wind gusts upwards of 50 miles per hour. We're only expecting that to increase as Milton creeps on closer. Keep an eye on those trees behind me because I think that is the best way you can get a sense of how strong those wind gusts are when they pass through. And this is why. These are the conditions that we're seeing. This is the reason why. We've seen at least 5 different counties saying they are suspending their operations, including Pinellas County, including Sarasota. We knew this was going to happen. They warned us days in advance. And one big threat, Tom, I know you and I have both been doing extensive reporting on the threat that all of those debris piles pose. Because whether or not we see the wind gusts that potentially could have been coming our way with those potential projectiles, those things flying around, it honestly, even if we're not seeing the same wind that we were expecting to see, you have one of those flying around, pieces of wood that could still shatter things like glass, things like windows. And so a lot of questions on just how much more that's going to ramp up the destruction here on the ground, as opposed to if we didn't have all of those debris piles. And so when we talk about the threat that is posed here, another thing that we're keeping a close eye on are those cranes. There's tall, powerful cranes in St. Petersburg, Florida. So there's residents that are further inland, out of the storm surge zone, out of the flood zone, thinking that they were safe to ride out the storm inside of their homes. And they were told by St. Petersburg to stay away from the windows, to stay out of the corners of their homes, because if those cranes come toppling down, that could, of course, pose a massive safety risk. And they're only able to withstand 100-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So this is something that we're keeping an eye on. It's comprehensive. I've been hearing from people who evacuated this area after they saw what happened with Helene, and then they went into the areas where we now saw tornadoes touching down. So, Tom, as you have mentioned, we're both seeing, and you just saw a flash of lightning, a really scary night for a lot of Floridians all around the state, Tom.
Yeah, we are seeing the conditions in real time in Tampa, where you are, and Sarasota, where I am, get worse by the second. The wind is picking up here. We're starting to finally feel those hurricane-force winds, which are right around 75 miles per hour. They're just gusts at this point, but they're picking up and they're getting louder and louder. Marissa, you stand by with your crew. Please get to some safety if you can. I do want to bring in an official now, Barbara Tripp, staying in that area. She's with Tampa Fire, and she's the chief and emergency manager. Barbara, talk to me about what you're seeing so far on your radar and what you're hearing from your teams. I know you guys have pulled your teams out of harm's way, but what are you hearing from the teams in the field?
Basically, the roads are clear. Good thing we don't have a lot of traffic out there, but the wind has definitely picked up. We're actually seeing some residents without power, certain areas without power. So we knew when Milton come, it was going to present a lot of wind and it was going to be some power outage.
Yeah. So you're saying that your teams are off the field. It's just, I should say, your teams are off the roads. It's still too dangerous for them to get out there. You think people heeded the warnings? We just heard from our meteorologist that storm surge, at least right now, it may change, but it may not be as big of a factor as we feared for Tampa Bay. But there's still so many other things you had to worry about, the debris piles being one of them.
So basically, we've been preparing for Hurricane Milton. We have a lot of resources here, staged in the city of Tampa, that's prepared to help the community. We have been pushing message out. We've been doing door-to-door, knocking on residents that's in the evacuation zone to make sure they evacuate. We have opened up multiple shelters throughout the city of Tampa, as well as Hillsborough County. And to be honest with you, the community is definitely heeding to the warning. And we know from Hurricane Helene, it presented some challenges here in the city of Tampa. With that, we actually have cleaned up a lot of debris, and we're still worried about the ones that we're unable to clear up, what kind of damage it's going to do to the city and all the infrastructures around us, but we're prepared.
All right, Barbara Tripp, we thank you for that. I now want to get to Sam Brock, who's live for us in Fort Myers, Florida, south of us here in Sarasota. They may feel the brunt of that storm surge. Sam, tell me what you're seeing right now.
Yeah, let's start there, Tom, because I think the storm surge in this case is the most significant topic of conversation. Naples is already in an area of major flood damage, or at least it's breached levels that would be considered a serious situation. Here, we have the Caloosahatchee River behind me that's already risen to basically ground level. I mean, we were out there earlier tonight, and we're still hours away from what's going to happen by 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. That is high tide. Fort Myers Beach, as you were eloquently describing earlier tonight, about 10 miles west of us, and certainly the epicenter of Hurricane Ian a couple of years ago. They are already seeing reports of that water rising to essentially the edge of where businesses are along Times Square, the heartbeat of the area. Water is rising now, and we are very early into this thing. So when you talk about projections of 9 to 13 feet high, if that plays out into reality in these areas 40, 50, 60 miles south of where the eye wall ultimately makes landfall, when that happens, this is the reality people are trying to process right now. The number one concern was always storm surge. It is the very reason that you had 400,000 people just in Lee County, where I am, under mandatory evacuation, Tom. It's because most of those folks are coming from either areas situated directly next to the river here, but more so, those barrier islands, it's just an entire cluster of them. It's not one or two. It's not just Fort Myers Beach and Sanibel Island and Pine Island, Gasparilla Island. There's just so many of them all the way up and down to Sarasota and beyond. And so you think about those places, they're accessible by bridge, but a lot of these bridges and causeways are not that sturdily built or were built dozens of years ago. You'll remember 2 years ago, you could not get onto Sanibel Island for days because the bridge just ruptured. Matt Lachey, which is right near Pine Island, same deal. We were reporting from there years ago as well.
Hey, Sam, Fort Myers initially wasn't on the radar, if you will, right? People were talking about Tampa Bay, Sarasota, Bradenton, other areas, and then suddenly it was, right? Were people there caught off guard, do you think? And was it too late for them to evacuate, or do you think they were able to heed that warning?
Yeah, so they evacuated Fort Myers Beach on, I believe, Sunday, Monday the latest. I think the announcement came out on Sunday, full evacuation by Monday. So I would say credit to the folks running things here in Lee County and specifically Fort Myers Beach. Those evacuations, Tom, happened days in advance of a more finite projection. And we apologize, we're losing some of our power here right now. Days in advance of a more finite projection for where Milton would hit. And so in anticipation of that, they took the necessary steps.
Sam, talk to us about those power outages, because as you were reporting, we had an aerial shot. It looked like we had an aerial shot of Fort Myers. It looks like transformers were exploding. What are you seeing just behind you?
Okay, so that's a great question. We have the street lights going in and out a second ago. All of the lights within the parking complex where I am went off and then came back on again. I don't know if they're on a generator or what the situation is there. And then beyond my shoulder, all the way on the other side of this bridge, we've just been seeing this green light sort of light up the sky. It's way too wide to be a lightning strike. Not exactly clear whether that's a transformer, some sort of building that's projecting this based on conditions, storm conditions there. I don't know, but there's definitely signs that the electrical infrastructure right now could be taking a bit of a hit.
All right, Sam Brock for us. Sam, you and your team stay safe tonight for us. I want to move on to Priscilla Thompson, who's been tracking that tornado outbreak in the central part of this state and also on the East Coast. Priscilla, talk to us about what you're seeing, and that tornado threat really had people on edge all day.
Yeah, Tom, we actually just moved into an area because we are in one of those areas right now that is under a tornado watch. And we're talking about areas across Central Florida under these watches until about 9 o'clock tonight. And we've already seen some of the damage that has been caused in some of these areas. In St. Lucie County, we saw a 10,000-foot metal structure that the sheriff's office used that is just a mess of mangled metal tangled up after a reported tornado tore through that area. We're also hearing reports from folks in Wellington, Florida, that there are several people injured after a tornado tore through there. And so some of the damage is just insane that we're seeing in places like Fort Pierce, where there are trees that have come crashing into homes, some homes that just appear and buildings and structures that just appear completely destroyed as these tornadoes are whipping up in the midst of this hurricane. We're talking about some 14 million people right now that are under these watches. And so it is a dangerous situation. I know Bill Cairns just a short while ago was saying that it appears that the worst of it has passed, but certainly still a concern as these watches remain in effect, and especially given the horrific damage that we've already seen from the tornadoes, not even factoring in the damage that could come from this hurricane. Tom?
Priscilla, talk to me about the emergency warnings. Those tornadoes started popping up, and I know they took some people by surprise. Were you hearing the alerts where you were? Do you know if the people on the East Coast and the central part of the state were getting those warnings as the tornadoes were coming?
Yeah, so I haven't heard any sirens going off here, but we have been getting the emergency management alerts about flood watches and tornado watches and warnings. And so we would hope that people in other parts of the state as well are also getting some sort of alerts to let them know that this is happening, because, you know, this is an area in Orlando that a lot of people evacuated to, thinking that they were going to be safe from the worst of some of this damage. And so to now see that they're under these tornado watches and warnings and to begin getting those alerts has certainly got to be terrifying and concerning as we're still bracing for the worst of the storm here. Tom?
All right, Priscilla Thompson for us. Priscilla, we appreciate that. We are now less than a couple of hours away from when we expect this storm to make landfall along the western Florida coast. And Sarasota, where we are live tonight, is in the bullseye with storm surge forecasted to reach as high as 13 feet. Joining us now is the Sheriff of Sarasota County, Kurt Hoffman. Sheriff, thanks so much for joining us on Top Story here. Talk to our viewers about how you've pulled your teams off the roads right now, at least have them in a standby mode, because the conditions just behind me outside here in Sarasota are too dangerous, correct?
That's correct. At about 40, 45 mile an hour, we pulled everybody off the road. That was consistent countywide that we were getting those speeds. We pulled the first responders in, fire, EMS, and my deputies. We've got about 100 cars here at our headquarters hunkered down for the rest of the storm.
You know, Sheriff, I can see the Ringling Bridge from where I am that connects those barrier islands. I'm seeing some cars go back and forth. Do you have any idea who those people might be? I mean, I know they could be police, they could be emergency responders, but they likely aren't, correct?
Well, the Ringling Causeway is controlled by the Sarasota Police Department. So we have assignments for all of those bridges. Some of those are in the city of Venice, some in the city of Sarasota, and then some in unincorporated Sarasota County. So my guess would be that would possibly be the Sarasota Police Department coming off the bridge.
Yeah, it could be. Sheriff, what are your biggest concerns? I know things are just starting to get a little dicey here in Sarasota. What is on your mind tonight?
Yeah, our building here that we're in, the windows are creaking as I'm speaking to you. I'm watching the trees sway back and forth. This storm is really unique in that we are getting rain, we are getting wind, we are getting surge, and we are getting a significant amount of tornadoes across the central part of the state and pretty close to us. So it has all the aspects of previous storms kind of rolled into one. And the wind is certainly ramping up. We can hear it outside, and some of the recorded speeds at the airport here in Sarasota are already over 70 miles an hour.
Sheriff, you know, the big challenge is going to be after this storm, right? Especially if there's that historic storm surge. Are you guys pre-positioned around the county, especially near the coast, if there is that historic storm surge?
Yeah, so we've got a pretty good system here in our critical incident response plan. We work very well with the county EOC, which are just about a half mile down the road from my headquarters right here. I've been there all day in meetings. Most everybody knows everybody. We worked together on these before. We have National Guard assets. We have Florida Guard assets. And then through the Florida Sheriff's Association, we have other sheriff's offices that are not affected are staging for me. So at first light, we'll be out with what we call our first in teams. They'll make the initial analysis, report back here to headquarters what we need in the field. We obviously know we're going to need high water vehicles, boats and things like that. But we'll have the specificity when those first in teams hit the ground with chainsaws and tell us the lay of the land, so to speak.
Okay, Sheriff, we thank you for your time tonight. Please stay safe. I'm sure we'll check back in with you if we need to. Our live coverage of Hurricane Milton continues. We're going to take a live look now at Tampa as Milton's outer bands lash at the very vulnerable city. Serious concerns tonight about massive storm surge there. You see it right here. Sarasota expected to take the brunt of the catastrophic hurricane. We'll speak with one woman riding out the storm with her husband, why she chose to stay. Much more ahead here on Top Story.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.